A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a significant ruling, the federal court has found Sydney-born Islamic preacher Wissam Haddad, also known as Abu Ousayd, guilty of vilifying the Jewish community through lectures that perpetuated deeply rooted antisemitic stereotypes. Justice Angus Stewart determined that Haddad's remarks, which included calling Jews shifty, treacherous, and descendants of apes and pigs, breached Section 18C of the Racial Discrimination Act. This ruling underscores the ongoing legal and social battles surrounding hate speech and religious intolerance in Australia. In other news, a tragic incident occurred at Melbourne Racecourse in Melbourne this morning when a stable hand was fatally injured after being kicked in the head by a horse. The woman was working inside a stable around 7:30 a.m. when the accident happened. On-site paramedics responded swiftly, but unfortunately, they were unable to save her life. This incident has sent shockwaves through the racing community, highlighting the dangers faced by those working in the industry. Meanwhile, the Seven Network's decision not to renew its broadcasting agreement with WIN has left many regional Australians, particularly in Griffith and parts of South Australia, without access to free-to-air AFL games. This has caused considerable upset among fans who now face the prospect of having to pay for subscriptions to watch their teams play. Greens Senator Sarah Hanson-Young has voiced her concerns, stating that the current media regulations are outdated and do not adequately serve the needs of regional communities. She has pledged to push for legislative changes to restore access to free-to-air football for these fans. In Sydney, operations at the airport have been affected as Air Services Australia has implemented single runway operations due to severe weather conditions. Strong winds from a rainstorm have led to expected delays, and travelers are advised to check with their airlines for flight statuses. This decision was made in collaboration with airlines and the Bureau of Meteorology to ensure safety during the adverse weather. On the international front, Foreign Minister Penny Wong has arrived in Washington, D.C., for talks with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. This meeting is part of the Quad Foreign Ministers meeting, which includes representatives from Australia, India, Japan, and the U.S. Wong expressed her anticipation for discussions focused on maintaining peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. The backdrop of the meeting includes ongoing trade tensions, particularly following the imposition of tariffs by the U.S. on Australian products earlier this year. In domestic politics, Deputy Liberal leader Ted O'Brien has emphasized the party's commitment to increasing female representation within its ranks. His comments come in the wake of criticism regarding the lack of women in leadership positions. O'Brien stated that the party must take proactive measures to ensure more women occupy winnable seats, reflecting a broader commitment to gender equity. In Gaza, Israeli airstrikes have resulted in the deaths of at least 74 individuals, with reports indicating that many were killed while seeking aid. Eyewitnesses described a devastating airstrike on a seaside cafe that was a gathering place for residents. This tragic event comes as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu prepares for a meeting with U.S. President Donald Trump, with hopes for a ceasefire agreement in the region. Lastly, President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at lifting many economic sanctions on Syria, fulfilling a promise made to the country's interim leadership. This move is intended to facilitate Syria's reintegration into the global economy, although sanctions targeting former President Bashar Assad and his associates remain in place. The implications of this decision could significantly impact Syria's path towards recovery and stability after years of conflict. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.